Hi, welcome to my web design videos. Today we are going to do a quick case study of a example company. Okay, not a real company. Let's call it Lee's Martial Arts in Tennessee, USA. And the owner approached you to do to design a website, redesign from scratch. Okay. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video and all the links can be found here at this link. Okay, the link is case sensitive. And I have loaded up the link here. Okay, so this is the web page. So if you copy the, obviously I can copy the URL, but you should get this link on the comments portion of the YouTube video, also from my class. Okay, so if you come here, this is the place you'll be. Okay, before we start everything, I believe everybody knows that Control C is copy and Control V is paste. So we're going to use that a lot here. Okay, so there are some old videos here. You don't really need them because I assume everybody who started this know HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so you do not need this, but this I have some really old videos. If you really need this, they still can be used. Okay, so the story is some company owner approached you to build a web page from scratch, and the owner is, the company name is called Lee's Martial Arts. Okay, and obviously they do martial arts. Okay, and they do not want to create using some existing templates or content management systems like WordPress. Okay. Or any content management systems. So they want you to design from scratch. Okay, you actually design the whole thing. And when you design, they want you to do the traditional designer path. That means you sketch. Okay. And then you do the prototype. Which means using Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. And then finally, they want you to code using HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap framework. Because they want the website to be responsive. Okay. So the first thing is you go to a place to meet the owner. A nice place would be a nice coffee shop like Panera Bread, which is inexpensive at the same time, allow you to talk quietly. Okay. So before you meet them, you need to find out a little bit about this company. So you can do it during the meeting, or you can do it after the meeting. And that after you meet, after the meeting, you know about what the company does. Okay. And before the meeting, you also need to do some visual research. Okay. So to start this project, we are going to save everything in a folder. So we are going to use our C10 folder. Okay, we have been doing other things here. So C10, we are going to create a new folder. Right click, new folder. Let's call it Web Design 2026. Okay, call it Web Design 2026. You can follow this process. And then because this is a big project, it involves a lot of steps, we are going to create a couple of subfolders. Okay. We're going to create a couple of subfolders so that we can save all our files there and keep track of the progress of the project. So here in this link under step 1 of the example page, we have some notes here. So if you click on that, you have some notes. It's a little bit small. So these are some notes for you to create folders. So you can create these folders just Control C or right click copy, come here and create a new folder. Right click new folder, Control V to paste. And then come here, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Control C to copy, paste. So I'm going to do this real quick. And then 22. 31. 32. 33. Okay, why do we create all these folders? Okay, I'm going to make this slightly bigger. Why do we create all these folders? Because the first step we do is visual research. Before you see the client, you want to show them some example websites because it's impossible for a client to visualize what they want. Okay, and then you, based on what they like, you design for them. You shouldn't spend around 2 hours there. Don't spend more than 2 hours for that because it's very easy to get carried away and just spend too much time doing this. Your time is precious and limited. So 2 hours. And then 30 minutes, come out with a site structure, 20 minutes to create a color palette for the user, and then 1 hour for photo image collection. I write the hours here because it's easy to just spend way too much time needed to do this project. So you have to time yourself. And then design prototype, probably you spend around 3 or 4 hours. HTML with design image, 3 or 4 hours. Slicing 1 hour, coding 1 or 2 hours, depending on how good you are. And then finally build a navigation 1 hour. So you add those together, it can be from 10 to 20 hours to do this project. Okay, so give yourself 10 to 20 hours to follow through all the videos. If you don't have that time, yeah, probably you can just go through them real quick to have idea what's going on, but probably you still need to follow through them. Okay. All right, so we created all the folders, and all the folders are here. Okay, let me go back to the website. The next thing you do is before you meet the client, okay, you want to show them, you want to do some visual research. So I have some websites here that is good visual research site like this one. Okay, if you go to categories here, and let's say you choose technology or sports. Let's try, they don't have something really. Business, let's try business. Okay, if you go to business, there are a lot of example sites. So let's say you like this one. Okay, you can look at it. Let me see if there's something that, let's say you like this one. This is very business-like, right? Lawyers in USA, you click on that. And you can make a screen, oh, sorry. So you can see the website and you can actually go to the website, the actual website, if it's still available. Sometimes these websites just go off real quick. If it's still available, you can see what the firm is like. Okay, so you can take a screen capture of this. I'm sure everybody know how to do screen capture. There are different tools for that. And then, so this is what it looks like on a computer. Okay, but if this website go to a phone, it will look like something like this. So this is what it looks like on a phone. And maybe this is what it looks like on a tablet. So when you do visual research for responsive websites, you want to do one on the computer and do one on the phone. So take a screen capture of this and take a screen capture of this. Okay, so I have already done a bunch of screen captures of the websites I like. Okay, so I'm just giving an example, and I have a couple of other sites here. You can look for inspirations. Okay, another one is this website is pretty good. Okay, and under styles, so there are some websites you may want to refer to for inspiration, and show the client, hey, this is what I can do, so on and so forth. Okay, so of course I'm not going to do the searching process when I'm doing the video. That will take forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download, so you can follow me on that. I'm going to download all the screen captures visual research I've done, and I'm going to save it into this folder, number 10. So click on that. If I'm doing too fast, just pause the video and try to figure it out, or rewind or something. Rewind the video, open it up. Open up the 10 visual research. So these are all the files. I'm going to drop it here. Okay. So let's look at what I found. Okay. So I found a couple of websites. When you meet your client, the owner of the martial arts school, you can show it to them. So this is design 1. This is design 1 when you look at it on a computer. I would say like XXL in Bootstrap. And this is design 1 when you look at it on a phone. Design 2, when you look at a computer, I think I like it because it's sports, right? Design 2 on a phone. So realize that this visual elements here are responsive. It's 5 in a row, but when you come here, it becomes 2 in a row. Okay, so keep that in mind when you design. This is number 3, design 3, design 3, and design 3 on the phone. So again, 8 visual elements here, 8 boxes come here, it becomes 4. Okay. Design 4, design 4 on the phone. Design 5, design 5 on the phone. You want to give the client different choices, like this one, the color scheme obviously is different from other designs. Design 5 on the phone. Design 6, design 6 on the phone. 7, 7, 7 on the phone. 8, 8, 8 on the phone. 8 on the phone at the bottom. Okay. So you show this to your client, and you don't have to choose one design. You have to, like, you can, if the client likes 2, you can mix them. Okay. So let's say client chose this one, design number, I believe is number 3. So this is on a computer on number 3. And this is what it looks like on the phone. Okay. But the client also likes, but the client was like, yeah, I don't like the logo here. I want something older, more retro looking. This is too modern. So I like the old logo here on the old website. You say, yeah, I can do that. That can be done. Okay. But I like the color of the banner. You say, yeah, that can be done. We can do that. Okay. So you can do that to your client. So the first thing you do is you choose your design template for inspiration. So I've chosen design 3, and some old stuff to just mix it, mix because they like the buttons. They say, yeah, I can do these buttons. Okay. All right. So the first step is visual research. So you have done that. The second step you do is you create a folders, which we have done that. So visual research and first step is create a folder. Second step is visual research. And then you talk to your client. Okay, you have to talk to them. find out what they want, okay, and find out what they want, what business they want, what kind of sub pages do you want, how many pages you want on your website, and then come up with your site structure. I've already done the site structure, so I want you to save the site structure to folder 11 here. So do a right click, save link as, okay, and then save it into C drive 10 folder. Web Design 2026, 11, site structure 30 minutes. Save. So the name of this is called site structure. If you open it up in Notepad++, right click, edit with Notepad++, you can see. So you talk to your client, the client say, hey, for my martial arts, this is the name. And we talk about the main sessions, the home page, program, schedule, calendar. So these are the first level navigation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's images for shortcuts like About Us, programs, calendar. So there are some like fast shortcuts to go to the thing they want. So those images would be at so they have some shortcuts here. So those images for shortcuts will be here. So you click on it, you go to About Us, click on it, go to programs, click on it, go to calendar and all that. So you talk to your client and the client's like, yeah, great, we did that. Or we can do that. So you have something to work with, okay? And then the next step you should do is based on your visual research, what the client likes, based on their site structure, you pretty much can decide how much time do you need for this project, okay? And how much you want to charge the client. Okay? Because you should not work for free. So all this research, screen capture, how many hours we spend? Screen capture, you spend Stream catcher, visual research, you spend 2 hours, and then site structure, maybe talk to the client a little bit, you come up 30 minutes. So this 2 hours and 30 minutes and a meeting probably 30 minutes to 1 hour. This 3.5 hours is free because you want to get the business. After that, you need to decide how much time do you need to do this project. Say you need to spend 30 hours for this project, okay? Based on your experience, and you always want to build in a buffer because client will ask you to make changes. So you want to build in a buffer, say you need 40 hours for this simple project. All static pages, okay? No hosting involved. If you want hosting, you can add that. Just designing the website is the 40 hours. Maybe another 10 hours for hosting. Okay, how much do you want to charge the client? Let's say how much do you want to charge? If your fees is $50 an hour, which is really low, okay, and times 40 hours. If you throw in hosting, like, hey, I want to host your website, I want to figure it out, that's extra charge, right? So if it's $50 an hour, so that would be $2,000 just to design the web page. Okay. So $2,000 for designing 2 pages. Okay. If you want to find hosting, then hosting, you need to pay the hosting company. And then you have to build all the other pages. Okay. And then upload to hosting. So this would be all extra charges. You know, if you build all the other pages, another 40 hours and plus upload, that will be another $2,000, so on and so forth. So you need to have a budget and like, okay, so I would say build all the other pages. So hosting, you have to tell the client how much you need to charge because that's extra to pay to the hosting company. Okay. So if build the other pages and is another 40 hours. Okay. So that will be another. So that will be another 50 times 40. So that will be another 2,000. Okay. So the project without paying the hosting company will be $4,000. And before you even start the project, you should ask the client to pay you half. Okay, and you should write a contract. So there are a lot of contract templates, you know, made the client sign. A lot of contract templates on the internet. Okay. So you can let the client sign the contract. At least there's some kind of agreement if there's some disputes with the client was like, no, that's not what I want you to do. I want much more pages, you know, many more pages, much nicer website. You know, I want PHP, I want database. And then on the contract, it's like, nah, it's just a static website, responsive with Bootstrap framework. It doesn't have other things. So at least you have some common understanding of that. Okay. So, and also if they pay half, they are committed to the project. You know, they would not just after you build, they were like, nah, I don't want it. You know. Okay, so that's a little bit about the money side when you take any project. But my job is not about business. Okay, my job is all about showing people how to design a website. Okay, I don't really care about business, but I don't want people to design a website and then get ripped off by some business. Okay, so yep. Okay, so after you come out with a budget, talk to your client, agree with budget, you know. Okay, which is not my main focus of this, but you should do that. And after that, we can sketch. We can start to work on paper, sketch a web user interface, show the client and all that. Okay, but my video is getting too long, and that's not a good thing because most, you know, you never want to put long videos on the internet, and bad things happen when you try to edit and all that. So I'm going to stop here, and I will try to keep my video short. Okay, and then in the next video, we're going to talk about site structure. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon.